Hey cats, what's happening? Let's get right down to business today. I told you I was going to talk about why I don't like cops. I got some stories to share. Now, a lot of you may know that I spent 44 years of my career working for the park system. Yep, 44. They gave me that plaque when I retired. And in my career with the park system, I worked with park rangers. You know, any park system in the country, whether it's a national park, a state park, a metro park, they all have a ranger force, a police force, and it's necessary for the safety and the preservation of the property. Well, during my career with the park system, I was not a park ranger, never was, but in the regime of park employees, in order to be a park manager or a boss, you had to be a commissioned police officer or a park ranger. Now, the park rangers went to the police academy. They were fully commissioned. They carried a weapon. They carried a badge. They had all the powers of any police officer in the country. The only difference is, as a park ranger, you probably didn't have the hard crime as much as you would like working on a city beat for a city cop. But still, nonetheless, in all the years of my career, I saw almost every kind of crime imaginable in the park. I saw everything from theft, rape, murder, you name it, assaults. It was all there. So it was necessary to have a police force there. But in order to be a boss, you had to be a commissioned park ranger. Right away, my career had barely started with the park. I think I'd only been there a couple of years when my boss was messing around with his weapon, his service revolver, and it accidentally fired. The bullet went right past my shoulder and ended up shooting my coworker. Accidental shooting. Nonetheless, he was physically impaired for the rest of his life, and luckily he survived. That left a bad taste in my mouth right away. But you know, in all the years of my motorcycle indulging, I was never one to really follow the rules. I wasn't a huge lawbreaker, but you know, I had my share of situations where the police wouldn't look too kindly on what we were up to. So that being said, I never was very favorable towards the police. I'm gonna sit down here and get comfortable. It's a little chilly out here in the garage today. I had the space heater on, but it makes a lot of noise. It's got a lot of roar to it, and I didn't want to have that going for the video. So you may see my breath a little bit. It's probably about 45 degrees in here. If I left the heater on for a while, I could probably push it up into the 50s, maybe even 60 degrees in here, but no need for that. Going back to why I don't like cops. I've seen all kinds. In my career, I worked with them side by side, so I know how they are. And I'm speaking for myself. I know there's going to be a lot of opposition for any of you that may be police officers that listen to this, but this is my argument. This is my side of the story, okay? I had no interest in law enforcement. None. And my boss, well, my superintendent came to me numerous times and wanted me to go to the police academy and become a commissioned police officer. He wanted me to manage a park. He had a beautiful, large swim club, a 13-acre lake. The beach went all the way around the entire lake. It was not uncommon to have 9,000 people there in one day on a weekend. So it was a very popular place, and there was a lot of management that needed to take place there. I was good enough to do that, but I refused to take the commission. I told him I have no interest in law enforcement. Good grief. I'm a friggin' biker. I hang around with dirty bikers. I'm not a cop. Never will be. No interest in it. he was pretty irritated with me, and he tried numerous times to convince me that I should go to the academy and get my commission and become a police officer so that I could become a manager, and I refused, adamantly refused. Zero interest in law enforcement. Still, though, I was given the opportunity not only to manage, although I didn't have the title of a park manager, I was doing the job, and I actually trained numerous park managers in doing that particular job. Throughout the years that I worked there, though, I'd seen all types. I've seen the young Rangers right out of the police academy, gung-ho, ready to throw down, ready to arrest, ready to pull out their gun. And, it takes a special kind of person to want to be in law enforcement in the first place. You got to have that attitude that you're going to uphold the law, that you're going to be Johnny Law, that you're going to enforce the rules, you're going to be an enforcer, you're going to have to assert your power, and you're going to have to know how to do that physically and mentally too. So I'd seen all types. I also saw the cops that would come on board and just want to hide all day. They didn't want to do their job. They wanted to take the easy way out. When you needed them, you couldn't find them. Or they were way off somewhere where, oh, sorry, but we can't be there within the next 45 minutes. Well, by then it's too late anyway. So I'd seen all kinds. I've worked with all kinds. I knew their attitudes. I knew what kind of people they were. They're just like everybody else, basically, what it boils down to. I knew cops that were alcoholics that would drink. They would drink on the job. I knew those that would smoke dope, smoke pot. I knew some of them that were involved in criminal activity. I knew some cops that would make their arrest, confiscate the paraphernalia or the weed, the alcohol, and then they would take it for their own personal use. I saw that too. I saw all kinds of things behind the scenes. And so I knew that they weren't all straight-laced, law-abiding people either. They felt that they had empowerment and that they were untouchable and that they could get away with it, and they knew what they could get away with. I've seen it. It was nothing that I was interested in being a part in. Now, as far as my situations, I've talked about some of that stuff before. How I was pulled over and harassed, how I was profiled for being a biker, how I was almost attacked by a police officer for no reason. I was handcuffed, put in the back of a squad car. The handcuffs are so tight they hurt your wrists, but do they do anything? No, they could care less. I was sat in jail and handcuffed to a bench. I've got no love for the police. And a lot of times, you feel like, is this really deserving? Did I really deserve this? I really haven't, was I breaking the law? Okay, maybe when you really put it on the line, but come on, there's bigger eggs to fry around here. There's the cop that you see around here in this rural area, and they know where to go because, okay, back up a little bit, they are required to get so many citations, traffic citations. It goes on their personal record. It shows that they're doing their job. But this is what they'll do. They'll come out in these rural areas and they know where the little hidden dip is, where they can hide, and they can just bang out the speeding tickets one after the other there. So, hey, it's like shooting fish in a bowl, Easy way for them to get their tickets and looks good on their record. Instead of going out and really, finding somebody that's really breaking the law, really finding some criminals. No, they're gonna take the easy way out. So, and there's all kinds. These are all my opinions. This is what I see. It's why I don't like cops. I was in a situation where, well, the divorce situation. And I was living here by myself, and I had my things broke into and all my personal stuff stolen. I called the police right away. Came home from work and everything was gone. I called the police and the sheriff showed up. In fact, there was 4 officers that showed up, and they saw how the door was busted into. They saw all my stuff was gone, and they laughed. They said, "You're involved in a domestic situation." Well, you're on your own there. We don't deal with that kind of stuff. You'll have to take that to your attorney. You'll have to deal with your attorney on that one. So that's how they helped me there. They laughed at me. I was so pissed off, that was totally undeserving and ridiculous. No report made, nothing. They just all got in their cars and left. And I was the loser. I got nothing out of it. So yeah, I've got no love for the police. In fact, like I said, I'll go down the road and I'll see them in a parking lot or sitting on the side of the road, and I'm always looking in my mirror thinking, are they going to come after me now for what? Of course, they never do, but I'm always suspicious that it could happen because they have the power to do that. They could get you for having a tail light out, or maybe a license plate light bulb burned out on your vehicle. Maybe a turn signal doesn't work on the bike or something, or you didn't give the right hand signal. Oh, there you go. You broke the law. Oh, now we got to deal with you. Okay, been there, done that. I've been profiled as a biker more than once by cops, so my dislike for them is real. I no love for them. I worked with them. I know how they are. That's all I got to say about that. Anyway, like my channel, give me a thumbs up, and share it with your friends. I'd like to hear what they have to say too. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. I'll keep you entertained with plenty more videos, and I've got lots of stories to share. I'll continue on as long as I can. So until next time, cats, ride hard and die free.